is we're going to go to 5.9. Supervisor Owen, you pulled that this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Intovano, do I have to read out that entire item?
Yes.
Yes, okay, stand by.
Jay, yes. I had to, you have to.
So we're now going to hear item 5.9, a second reading. Adopt ordinance amending Chapter 5 of the Lake County Code and adopting by reference the 2025 California Building Standards Code, known as the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, Part 1 through 6, 8 through 12, incorporating the 2025 edition of the California Administrative Code, Title 24, Part 1, the 2025 edition of the California Building Code, Title 24, Part 2, the 2025 edition of the California Residential Code, Title 24, 2.5, the 2025 edition of the California Electrical Code, Title 24, Part 3, the 2025 edition of the California Mechanical Code, Title 24, Part 4, the 2025 edition of the California Plumbing Code, Title 24, Part 5, the 2025 edition of the California Historical Building Code, Title 24, Part 8, the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, Title 24, Part 9, the 2025 edition of the California Existing Building Code, Title 24, Part 10, the 2025 edition of the California Green Building Code, Title 24, Part 11, the 2025 edition of the California Reference Standards Code, Title 24, Part 12, the 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface, Title 24, Part 7, the 2024 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. And that concludes the title reading. And Supervisor Owen, I'll turn it back to you.
Actually, I believe if I remember right, this was one that when it came before us on the first reading, I had voted against, so therefore we had to pull it off the consent agenda. And I think, I'm trying to get my bearing here. I didn't make my notes on this.
Your concern was inhibiting development. However, this is required by state law. We have no
Right.
choice but to adopt it.
Right, okay. And I still stand where I was. I didn't make my notes. I'd have to go back to the last time it was here. When was it brought before us last time?
Yeah, it wasn't the last meeting, it was the one before that.
So it was in December?
Yeah.
December.
16?
It's December 16th.
December 16th?
I'm
Yeah,
looking
it
for
says
it.
above the recommended.
December 16th.
Yeah.
Okay,
6.8.
so thank you. That speeds me up. Okay. What I had last time on it was that I wanted more information on what it entailed, what changes are being made, and 1.4G fireworks in state fire code, move agriculture into a minimum of 5 acres. So I wish I was more.
Those were notes on the discussion, but the moving ag to 5 acres will be covered when the board considers the agricultural element for Lake County 2050. And yeah, so.
I'm sorry, I'm not up on this one as much as I should be. I know I had to pull it, but
You know, time is flying. These things.
Supervisor Sabatier?
And for the fireworks, you don't know what you don't know. And unfortunately, I thought it was okay to possess, but it is not allowed to possess anytime outside of Lakeport and only inside of Lakeport during the times that they are for sale. But the possessing is illegal otherwise. So things you don't know and you don't know, and that was embarrassing, but I'll admit it right now. So that was part of that conversation, that there's no need to change that because that's the law.
Thank you.
well, I think I'm done.
You're done. So I'm going to open up this public comment. Is there anyone in the room? Seeing none. Johanna, do we have any hands online? No hands. I'm going to close comment and bring it back to the board, and I believe we'll need an action.
I move
Hang on one
I
second, Supervisor.
offer the ordinance.
There you go.
Okay,
So much easier.
you've offered, the ordinance has been offered.
Right, Supervisor Owen,
Yeah,
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall,
Yes.
Supervisor Pyska, and
Yes.
Supervisor Rasmussen.
Aye. Okay, that concludes that item,
I'm
and
feeling better.
since you're here, I'm going to ask you to stay here. Let's do 7.4.
Thank you. At the last board meeting, you did the first reading of an ordinance that accomplishes a number of implementation tasks from the general plan housing element, sixth cycle from 2019 to 2027. After the approval of the first reading and advancing this item, we did realize that inadvertently omitted a definition, which has since been added. There was also numbering corrections that needed to be made. So what I request today, instead of a second reading, is since the omission of that definition is substantive, that this board approve a first reading again and advance it to the next available agenda.
Okay, bring it back to the board. Supervisor Sabatier.
It's just a brief question. What does that do to our timeline with the state who had anticipation to receiving this?
I have kept the state updated, and I will continue to do so. I'm not aware of any repercussions yet, because, this is substantive change, so nothing I could do about it.
Okay, any further from the board?
I still had some questions about the parking requirements on the low-income housing primarily, but in some of those areas I still want to be on the record that I have concerns about the parking. I am happy to see some of the regulations relaxing and reducing the CEQA requirements on some of these. I have one more question on the ag employee housing. I noticed it goes from 6 to 12. There's nothing below 6. So if you've only got 2, for instance, does it still apply?
We have not had any inquiries regarding that, but we also do have existing options for farm worker housing and ag something housing. There are a few limited options already for like a single family house.
Right. But because it started at 6 and then went clear up to 36 beds.
Good question.
Anything further?
Nope, that was
No.
it.
It appears there's nothing further from the board. I'm going to open it to the public. Is there anyone in the room that wishes to speak? Seeing none, Johanna, do we have anyone online? Holly, we're going to unmute you and state your name for the record, please, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Oh, hi, Holly Harris. I still have a question that hasn't been answered, even though I've asked it a couple of times. But HE 72 eliminates the requirement for a minor use permit for developments 20 units or larger to remove the constraint on development and possible barrier to construction of affordable housing units. So it's focused on affordable housing units. Yet the proposed 12.4B makes all housing developments in R3 a use by right, whether irregardless of size or pricing or anything like that. That I don't understand, especially when you take a look at the, I think it's E, in which it actually, which is actually HE 58, which says housing projects with at least 20% of units affordable to lower income households shall be permitted by right if they're located in a high density zone. These kind of are at opposition to each other. And so that's my question. Then I also, I think it's 12.4B, it states that everything is subject to compliance with all objective development standards in section 19.20, Article 19. But isn't Article 19 community commercial, or am I reading this wrong? Anyway, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Director Turner, are you able to
I would
offer?
refer Ms. Harris to the email that we sent responding to her questions already.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right. Apparently there was an email sent, Ms. Harris, so we're asking you to check that. Thank you for
Our
your comments
responses are
today.
in red font.
Is there any further online, Johanna? No hands, then I'm going to go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the Board of Supervisors for anything further or possible action. Mr. County Counsel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So if your board is prepared for an action with these substantive amendments, the motion would be to just have the draft ordinance with the amendments presented to your board here be advanced to the next Board of Supervisors meeting for consideration and possible adoption. The first reading already took place. Since the first reading, there's been substantive amendments, but that under the statutes, that just moves it forward to the next Board of Supervisors meeting for consideration and possible adoption.
So moved.
So I have a motion,
Second.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
And I believe that concludes your items.
I think I'm done.
Thank you.
5-minute break.